Welcome to Before AGI Weekly, your essential AI news digest. Thrilled to be here with you for another deep dive. Today, we're really cutting through the noise. We're synthesizing those truly groundbreaking developments that have reshaped the AI landscape just in the last couple of weeks, late July to early August 2025. Our mission, as always, is to turn these breakthroughs and trends into, well, clear, actionable insights for you. We want to show you AI's current path, balancing that technical depth with practical value. So whether you're a tech pro or just really curious, this is your shortcut. And believe me, this period, it's been pivotal.
Oh, absolutely pivotal. You know, what's really striking about this specific time frame is just the sheer speed, the acceleration we've seen. It's not really incremental progress anymore, is it? We're seeing this genuine surge, the volume, the significance of the breakthroughs, the regulatory shifts, industry disruptions. It's all happening at once. It really feels like we're at an inflection point. The groundwork for AI's next big phase seems to be falling into place, like right now.
Okay, so let's jump right in then. Our first major thing, it's this fascinating kind of dual trajectory we're seeing in foundational AI models, and specifically from OpenAI. On one side, we got the huge launch, the highly anticipated GPT-5, rolled out to all 700 million ChatGPT users.
Yeah, and the crucial thing here, what they're calling it, is the first unified model. So what it means is it's seamlessly combining the deep reasoning of their O series, those really powerful thinking models, with the speed, the rapid response of the GPT series we already know. And it does this using something they call an intelligent router.
An intelligent router. Okay, break that down. Like a traffic cop for AI tasks.
Pretty much, yeah. Think of it like that. It dynamically sends your query to the best part of the model for the job. You know, is it complex? Does it need deep thought? Or does it just need a fast answer? The router figures it out, makes it fast and smart. And then there's the context window. It's massively expanded, 256,000 tokens.
Wow, 256K. What does that actually translate to?
Well, just to give you a sense, that's like feeding it an entire novel.
Right.
Or maybe even a small library of documents, all in one conversation. Sam Altman even claimed it gives PhD-level expert answers across, many different fields. And he talked about vibe coding. Basically, generating whole software apps just from you describing the vibe you want.
Vibe coding. Okay, that sounds ambitious. And potentially amazing. Plus, they're promising better safety, fewer hallucinations.
Right, which is always a huge focus. Definitely a big step forward there, or at least that's the promise.
That does sound like a colossal leap. But here's the twist, the really interesting part. Just days before GPT-5 goes public, OpenAI drops GPT-OS, their first open-weight model since GPT-2. What's the thinking there? That timing seems deliberate.
Oh, it definitely feels deliberate. And GPT-OS, well, it's a smaller model, sure, but it's got chain of thought reasoning built in, so it can think step by step. And it apparently nearly matches their big closed models on benchmarks, plus it can run offline.
Offline, capable, open weight. That's significant.
Hugely significant. The idea is it democratizes advanced AI research. It gives researchers, external teams, direct access to the model's guts, basically. They could really spur innovation in safety, in interpretability stuff that's harder to crack open in a closed system. And of course, self-hosting. Better data privacy, that's critical for regulated sectors, healthcare, finance, government. It really signals a move towards transparency, maybe even customization. But yeah, it begs that question, why this hybrid approach? Why both?
It really feels like OpenAI is trying to have its cake and eat it too, playing both sides of the open versus closed race.
That's a good way to put it. It feels like they're aiming to dominate the entire AI stack, from the absolute cutting edge down to the open source community level. It certainly intensifies competition, especially with other open models. Think DeepSeek, other players who've been gaining ground. So it kind of suggests that, yeah, keep the super powerful closed models like GPT-5 for the big consumer products, the enterprise stuff, but also release these good enough open models, push value creation further up the stack.
Further up the stack, meaning the innovation shifts from building the base models to building on them.
Exactly. Specialized applications, agentic systems, that's where maybe the next wave of value comes from, built on these open foundations.
Okay, let's pivot now to the real-world impact, specifically on jobs. This period, late July, early August, it's showing some pretty concrete and, frankly, maybe concerning signs, especially for white-collar work.
Yeah, definitely concerning. One story that really stands out is Tata Consultancy Services, PCS, the Indian IT outsourcing giant. They announced they're cutting over 12,000 jobs. That's 2% of their global workforce.
Yeah.
And experts are immediately calling this the beginning of an AI-fueled shakeup.
A shakeup in that massive $283 billion outsourcing sector.
Precisely. Some estimates suggest maybe 500,000 jobs could go over the next, say, 2 to 3 years in that sector alone. Now, TCS cited skill mismatches, the usual kind of corporate speak.
Right, the official reason.
But most observers are pointing directly at AI, the automation of routine coding, testing, and support tasks. Is becoming undeniable.
And it's not just TCS, right? This whole summer felt like a turning point. We heard it called the largest AI-driven layoff surge in tech history.
That's right. Over 80,000 jobs gone across tech. Big names, too. Microsoft cut 9,000, Intel 10,000. And both explicitly mentioned AI integration as a factor in those workforce reductions.
And it seems to be hitting entry-level roles quite hard.
Yes, that's a key point. And this scale, it really does seem to exceed previous technology-driven employment disruptions. It suggests AI's impact might be faster, more comprehensive than what we've seen before, like with the internet or earlier automation waves. It really highlights that shift, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Moving from just augmenting roles, helping people do their jobs, to actually automating them entirely.
Taking the human out of the loop in some cases?
In some cases, yes. Optimizing them out economically. That's a fundamentally different kind of challenge.
And it's hitting creative fields, too. This next one caused quite a stir. Vogue's August issue, an ad for Guess.
Yes, using entirely AI-generated models. No real people in the photos. And predictably, it sparked widespread backlash. Concerns about jobs for human models, photographers, stylists. But also about representation.
Representation? How so?
Well, critics argue it erases real representation. Using AI allows brands to create perfect images that might not reflect real diversity. It potentially undermines progress in diversity that the industry has been working towards. It just underscores this urgent need for, massive reskilling and upskilling. We need what some call an augmented connected workforce, and not just in tech, right? Across all sectors, creative included.
It's not just coders, it's artists, models, writers. The definition of work itself is changing.
Exactly. Who gets to participate? Who benefits? These are huge questions now.
Okay, shifting from jobs to what's driving a lot of this,
Yep.
the AI arms race,
Yeah.
the competition between the tech giants, it feels like it's escalating. Massive investments, aggressive talent poaching.
Oh, it's definitely escalating. Take Meta Platforms. They announced a massive $14.8 billion investment in AI infrastructure, new data centers, the works. But here's the interesting bit. To actually finance these soaring costs for AI computing, Meta did something pretty unusual.
What was that?
They made a notable pivot. They started selling off existing assets, $2.04 billion worth of data center land and equipment to third parties. And they're actively looking for outside money, outside capital to co-develop their big superclusters. Now, usually these giants just fund everything themselves, so it shows how incredibly expensive this AI race is getting.
They're selling parts of their own house to build a bigger, better AI wing. That's quite something. And it's not just about hardware, is it? There's this fierce talent poaching war, too. Especially for AGI researchers. How fierce are we talking?
We're talking stratospheric. Meta, for instance, reportedly offering compensation packages up to $300 million over 4 years.
$300 million.
Yeah. With maybe over $100 million in the first year alone, specifically to lure top talent for their new superintelligence lab. But then you have Microsoft, led by Mustafa Suleyman, the DeepMind co-founder. They're taking a different approach. They're pitching a more nimble, startup-like environment, less bureaucracy, and apparently it's working. They've managed to attract over 24 researchers from DeepMind, even with reportedly more modest pay packages compared to Meta.
Interesting. So it's not just about the money, it's about the environment, too.
Exactly. It just escalates the AI arms race and really underscores the critical battle for elite human capital. It suggests the future of AI dominance. It won't just be about who has the most GPUs. It'll be about who can attract and, crucially, retain the best minds, the most visionary researchers.
A battle for brains just as much as compute. Okay, let's move from the tech battleground to the regulatory one. AI governance seems to be moving fast now, shifting from, principles and guidelines to actual enforceable laws.
Absolutely. A really key date was August 2nd, 2025. That's when the EU AI Act's provisions for general-purpose AI, GPAI, officially took effect. This activated the European AI Office, the AI Board, and it brings real teeth. It mandates transparency, copyright compliance, detailed training data summaries for these big models, and there are even more rigorous requirements for systemic risk GPAI models.
Systemic risk. meaning the really powerful ones that could have broad societal impact.
Precisely. So this really establishes the world's first comprehensive legal framework for AI governance. It's setting global precedents.
And that's where the Brussels effect comes in, right? If a company outside the EU wants its AI used in the EU, they effectively have to follow these rules.
Exactly right. It basically makes EU standards a kind of de facto global benchmark, whether you're based in Silicon Valley or Shanghai. But this also highlights that different parts of the world are taking different paths. It's not all unified. Just a few days before the EU rules kicked in, China proposed a global AI cooperation organization.
Okay, what's their angle?
Their emphasis is on open collaboration, sharing AI advances, especially with the global south. And, implicitly, it seems aimed at countering U.S. technology export controls, a different vision for global AI coordination. Meanwhile, the U.S. approach, still very much focused on innovation, global leadership, and generally reducing regulatory barriers. Lighter touch.
So 3 distinct approaches emerging. EU regulation heavy, China collaboration focused, US innovation first. What should people take away from this?
The big takeaway is that we're moving definitively beyond just abstract ethical principles or voluntary codes of conduct. We're entering an era of enforceable legal frameworks with significant penalties, real consequences for noncompliance. So that whole idea of self-regulation for the big foundational models, that era is rapidly closing.
The Wild West days are ending, perhaps.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about where AI is actually going. Beyond chatbots, we're seeing AI push into really surprising new frontiers, scientific discovery, new kinds of automation.
Yeah, some truly fascinating stuff here. There was a breakthrough from MIT and Duke University. They used AI to design new polymer materials, found stuff 4 times more tear-resistant than conventional ones. How? The AI identified these non-intuitive scientific relationships that humans might have missed. It basically accelerated materials discovery from weeks, potentially months, of human lab work to rapid computational screening.
So AI isn't just analyzing data, it's driving actual scientific discovery.
Yes, and even creating things that don't exist in nature. Look at Profluent Bio. They hit a historic milestone with OpenCRISPR-1. It's the first gene-editing enzyme designed entirely by AI, and it worked. It successfully performed precise edits on human genome cells. This shows AI's power to innovate beyond just mimicking or optimizing existing natural systems. It's becoming a creator itself.
Wow, designing new materials, new biological tools. That's incredible. And then there's this term, agentic AI. What's that about?
Right, agentic AI. Think of it as AI that's more proactive. It's goal-driven, capable of autonomous decision-making, task completion, and generating output dynamically without needing a prompt for every single step.
So less like a tool you use, more like an assistant that takes initiative.
Exactly. We saw Sales Platform Outreach unveil AI agents for sales workflows. AWS introduced new agentic AI tools for business processes. Microsoft rolled out Copilot Vision AI. It can apparently scan your Windows desktop and figure out how to automate workflows based on what you're doing. It signals this big shift towards autopilot selling or broader enterprise automation. We're moving from human in the loop, where you're constantly guiding it, to human on the loop, where you're supervising, but the AI does more on its own.
Like you said earlier, a co-pilot is ready to fly solo sometimes.
Yeah, you're just there monitoring the instruments, ready to jump in if needed.
And there was also a really positive, almost heartwarming application mentioned this week. AI helping neurodivergent users.
Yes, a Reuters report highlighted this. Neurodivergent individuals are using chatbots, like ChatGPT, as communication coaches. They're finding them empathetic, surprisingly helpful for practicing social interactions, for help with writing, acting as lifelines, helping them navigate communication challenges with more confidence. Like a great example of AI for social good.
That really is fantastic. Okay, and one more frontier, cybersecurity. The DARPA AI Cyber Challenge.
Right, that concluded.
Yeah.
And it successfully showed AI's ability to autonomously find and even patch software vulnerabilities. The AIs discovered 18 actual real-world vulnerabilities during the challenge. This could offer a really scalable and highly cost-effective solution to that constant cybersecurity talent shortage we always hear about.
So putting it all together, science, agents, accessibility, security, AI is really branching out.
It really is. It's transitioning from just being an analytical tool to becoming an active participant, even a creator, across so many different industries. It's starting to directly manipulate the physical world, designing materials, editing genes, not just processing information.
But with all this rapid deployment, the ethical questions get louder too, especially around generative AI. And this next one, well, you used the word spicy earlier, and it seems appropriate here.
Uh-oh. You must be talking about Elon Musk's xAI. On August 4th, they launched Grok Imagine, an AI tool for making images and videos. And it includes, very deliberately, a spicy mode.
Spicy mode, let me guess, allows users to create not safe for work NSFW content.
That's exactly it. And predictably, it ignited significant concerns: content moderation, potential misuse, especially deepfakes, misinformation. It basically just reignited the broader debate about whether AI models need content guardrails and how effective they can even be.
And some commentators are framing this, Grok imagines spicy mode, as a direct challenge. A pushback against so-called woke AI models against censorship, creating this widening philosophical divide.
It definitely highlights that divide. It shows that our existing ethical frameworks are continuously being tested, really challenged by the tech's speed and by these differing corporate philosophies. When you make content creation this easy, especially potentially harmful content, it just significantly lowers the barrier for malicious actors. It poses that fundamental question again: how do you balance innovation and freedom with preventing real harm? It's incredibly tricky.
A tricky balance indeed.
Yeah.
And speaking of different philosophies and market shifts, one last piece of news. Anthropic's Claude apparently making big gains in the enterprise market.
Yeah, that was another significant development this week. Reports suggest Anthropic's Claude now holds about 32% of enterprise LLM usage. That actually puts it ahead of OpenAI, who are reportedly around 25% in that specific market segment.
Overtaking OpenAI and enterprise, why the shift?
Well, it seems to be credited largely to Anthropic's heavy emphasis on safety, on constitutional AI, and also developing specialized models. They seem to have a significant lead, for example, in models fine-tuned specifically for coding tasks. So it really demonstrates that for businesses, for enterprise users, things like reliability, security, compliance, they can be just as important, maybe even more important, than just raw performance or having the absolute biggest model.
Safety and specialization winning out in the enterprise space, for now at least.
It definitely puts pressure on OpenAI and others to really beef up their robustness, their enterprise features, if they want to compete effectively there. It's not just about the consumer chatbot anymore.
Okay, and that just about wraps up our deep dive into this whirlwind period from late July to early August 2025. What an incredible couple of weeks for AI. We've covered foundational models hitting new heights, the labor market facing these huge shifts, that fierce arms race for talent and compute. Plus, maturing global governance, AI expanding into science and automation, and these intense ethical debates flaring up again.
It really feels like a moment of both, unprecedented capability and pretty significant responsibility. All these trends converging. It really suggests 2025 might be the year AI transitions from being kind of experimental, cutting-edge tech to becoming actual infrastructure-level deployment. And that has profound implications for jobs, for global competition, for how we even organize economic activity. These next inflection points, they're critical. They'll really determine if all this massive investment we're seeing is sustainable growth or maybe just a speculative excess, and how we manage these powerful tools.
Unprecedented capability and significant responsibility. A perfect summary. Thank you so much for joining us for this essential AI News Digest. If you found this deep dive valuable, please do subscribe to The Deep Dive wherever you get your podcasts. And for more in-depth tutorials, more insights into AI, definitely check out Ian Orchieng's YouTube channel. That's IANOCHIENGAI. We'll be back next time exploring more surprising facts and crucial insights in the world of AI.